Hello everybody, in this video I give you my top 5 Kiwi batsmen. Hello everybody and welcome back to another top 5 video. Just before I get into the number 5 batsman, a couple of rules, well no rules really. This 5 is not based on any achievements, statistics or rankings. They're just 5 batsmen that I like. So what do I actually like about New Zealand batsmen? Quite a lot really, in the fact that they're not showmen, they're not big heads. They're really good at what they do, professional, and I think arguably the most overachieving team that there's ever been, or nation that there's ever been. And what I mean by that is, and I don't really mean to say that they're hitting above their weight, or do I really? Because when you consider their overall population of somewhere between 5 and 5.5 million, and that's it, to pluck a New Zealand team consistently that does well at tournaments. They're in the Test final just a year or two ago. To produce players that operate consistently up near the top draw, the top rank of everything, I think is sort of testament to the whole culture around Kiwi cricket. So without further ado, at number 5, Martin Crowe. Now, I only caught Martin at the back end of his Test career. He retired sort of, when was it, 1996, and I caught him on his 1994 tour of England. That was the tour he scored his final 2 centuries, and he retired a couple of years later. Nicknamed Hogan, because I believe he used to captain a team called Hogan's Heroes. First cousin to Russell Crowe, the gladiator, and of course famed headband wearer, which is always a tick in my box. Now, Crowe is considered to probably be the best Kiwi batsman ever. Made his debut at age 19 and it was known for his creative thinking, his let's try something different, his winning attitude. I'll just pop some stats up on screen for you now. Pause it if you want to take a little longer with this. He actually made a comeback 15 years after he retired in 2011, age 49. And I said that was 15 years after. And his comeback lasted all of 3 balls. Totally rock star, because he ended up getting retired hurt, and then that was it. Ultimately, his injury was plagued with injury and illness, not to mention cancer, to which unfortunately he lost his life in March 2016. Number 5, Martin Crowe. Now, I think it's fair to say that coming in number 4, this is a batsman that we've all seen enough of, perhaps too much. Number 4, Kane Williamson. Okay, so Kane is the only batsman out of these 5 that is still playing. He's just about to turn 34, so let's see how long he goes on for. And suffice to say, he scored a lot of runs. Here's some stats for you. Again, pause it if you want to take a little longer on it. So I was looking for some sort of either some juicy gossip or some interesting facts on Kane Williamson, because all I ever know about Kane is that he bats really, really well and scores a lot of runs. His nickname is actually Steady the Ship. Dear Kiwis, that's not how you do nicknames. Can we just call him Steady from now on? Just one word nicknames, please. So Steady, he's a twin, he's ambidextrous, which reminds me of when I saw him warming up at a Yorkshire game. Credit for playing for Yorkshire, by the way. That always gets an extra point. And for some reason, I forget, I think it was Adam Lyth he was bowling to, just out in the outfield as probably Yorkshire were getting ready to bat. And Kane was bowling left arm off spin. Now it all makes sense, because he was absolutely ripping it. So Kane continues to play. He's probably, in my opinion, technically New Zealand's best ever. So let's see where he ends come the final day of his career. Number 4, Kane Williamson. Okay, quickly coming in at number 3, and anyone who watched New Zealand between the mid-90s and the mid-noughties may shudder when you hear this name, Nathan Astle. Now, when I think of New Zealand in the late 90s, early noughties, and think of the batsmen that I saw a lot of, but I didn't want to see a lot of, Nathan Astle's name is right at the top of the list because he always seemed to get runs against England, whether it be in New Zealand or England or in a World Cup. He just seemed to be able to smash the England bowlers ridiculously whenever he wanted. He was known as The Rock for his hard-hitting and uncompromising nature. He held the record for most Kiwi one-day internationals at 16, and he famously hit the fastest double hundred back in 2002 at Christchurch in just 153 balls. Who was that against? Yeah, England. Number 3, Nathan Astle. Okay, coming in at number 2, and I'm sure this guy will be many of yours actual number 1 choices, but he's my number 2. That's Baz. Oh, sorry, Brendon McCullum. Nicknamed Baz because his middle name's Barry. Okay, some stats up on screen for you now. When I think of Brendon McCullum, saw him quite a lot. He was New Zealand, I've just mentioned Astle, who was a very attacking batter. For me, McCullum then raised the bar when it came to managing risk, I think, within batting. I think he realised he could take a lot more risk as a batter and still get away with it. And he scored a lot of runs by advancing down the wicket, heaving to cow. He weighed up the benefits of hitting a boundary against the chances of getting out, and ultimately, I think on the majority of occasions, he came off as the winner. Interestingly, it took Baz 2 years from him making his one-day international debut in 2002 to making it into the Test team in 2004. McCullum currently holds the fastest one-day international World Cup 50. It took him just 18 balls, again against England. And he was also the first to 1,000 and 2,000 runs in T20 internationals. So that's number 2, Brendon McCullum. Okay, just before I go on to my number 1 choice, and hopefully some of you have guessed who that chap is right now, but I just wanted to give a special mention to the 9th highest New Zealand Test run scorer. Can you guess who it is? No? Daniel Vettori. Dan Vettori is the 9th highest Test run scorer for New Zealand. Can you believe it? Well done. I saw him make his debut when he was 18 years old. He was obviously a bowler. He batted way down the order. I think he was 18 years old, and you wouldn't expect him to be able to hold a bat or bat with any conviction, and he didn't to start with, but he worked his way up. And reading articles on him, they ultimately classed him as a Kiwi all-rounder. So I just thought that was worth a shout out. But you never know. Vettori may just make the top 5 Kiwi bowlers. Let's find out. So we're here, number 1, and I'm thinking some of you will have already guessed, but my number 1 Kiwi batsman, Stephen Fleming. Fleming, commonly regarded as one of the greatest cricket captains of all time. So much so, went on to overachieve. I keep on saying that, I don't mean that disrespectively. He went to win a lot of matches as captain. He captained for 10 years. I'll put the number on the screen now, but he won sort of 40-50% of his matches. I was looking around for his nickname, and of course everybody said, oh, Stephen Fleming, nickname Flem. I get that, just a shortening of his surname. But then I found another little bit of information where I said, yeah, Stephen Fleming nicknames Flem and Donkey. So, yeah, mine's out the gutter. It's not that. It's more for his running ability between the wickets, which was apparently terrible. Fleming has the 2nd highest appearances for New Zealand, and he's their highest Test run scorer. Again, an extra brownie point for having a stint at Yorkshire County Cricket Club. And although there was one blemish on his career in 1995 off the field, when he was caught smoking something that he shouldn't be smoking, one date for his diary was the 26th of October 2004. Well, when he walked out to bat, it acknowledged him as having the most caps for New Zealand, batting the most innings, and during his innings he actually became New Zealand's highest run scorer. So 3 records in one game, not bad. ultimately, my final thoughts on Stephen Fleming, he was there throughout. He was the young player that I saw come into the team. He was the captain for a very, very long time when I was paying a lot of attention to cricket, and he was always there, left-hander, up top, scoring the runs. And you knew if Stephen Fleming was scoring runs, New Zealand always had a chance of winning. He was the wicket that you wanted him out quick time, and if you managed to get him out, you knew you could get on top of New Zealand. He was so reliable, and like I said earlier, all the effort and the learning, the experience, the skill that he learned as a player, ultimately one of the greatest captains ever. He's now taken that on into a really, really successful coaching career, and therefore my number one, Stephen Fleming. So like I said at the start of the video, this was just my 5. It wasn't really based on anything in particular. They just had to be around, and I had to see them and remember them and have good sort of thoughts and feelings, even though Kiwis love scoring runs against England, and he kind of almost like begrudged them that no. Ultimately, really good, solid bunch of blokes, keen cricketers, competitive, highly skilled, and yeah, that's my top 5. Feel free to agree or disagree in the comments. If you found this mildly amusing, interesting or entertaining, leave me a like. But most of all, if you love cricket as much as I do, then consider smashing the subscribe button for a 6 right over the ropes. So I'll let you ponder on what your top 5 Kiwi batsmen would be. And remember, stay healthy, and I'll see you soon.